realized we hadn't eaten a real meal for 2 days, and I didn't want to eat anywhere that I had to worry about animals attacking my food. Dad said we should go to the golf clubhouse, because it was the only indoor restaurant on the resort. Everyone seemed to like that idea, so that's where we went. But when we got to the clubhouse, the manager said they couldn't serve us. He said the clubhouse had a dress code, and that guys had to wear collared shirts, and women had to wear dresses. Dad told the manager we didn't have those things, and the manager said that we could purchase them at the gift shop. But Dad said collared shirts cost $50 each, and there was no way he was going to buy 4 of them just so we could have lunch. So we had to find another place to eat. Roderick wanted to just have some hot dogs in the teen zone, but Mom said she wanted to eat lunch as a family. I was pretty sure they served burgers and fries at the swim-up bar at the pool, so we went there to check it out. But I had second thoughts about eating at the pool once we ordered. It was like having a meal in a bathtub with a bunch of people you don't know. And it wasn't just people, either. There was actually a monkey sitting at the other end of the bar. Dad asked the bartender about the monkey, and she told us the whole sad story. She said this monkey used to live in a big tree on the resort with a bunch of other monkeys, and he was kind of like their leader. But then this younger monkey came along and kicked him out. The monkey didn't have any place to go, so one day he came to the bar, and people started buying him drinks. And he's been coming back every day since. I really didn't know what to think after hearing a story like that. All I knew for sure was that I didn't feel great about eating lunch while sitting in monkey water. There was some sort of big sports game on the TV, and everyone at the bar seemed really into it. But somehow, Manny ended up with the remote control, and he changed the channel to a show for little kids. Everyone wanted Manny to change the channel back, but when Manny wants to watch one of his shows, trust me, there's nothing anyone can do about it. After Manny tossed the remote into the pool, the people at the bar were ready to riot, so Mom scooped Manny up, and we got out of there before I even finished my burger. Roderick went back to the teen zone, and Mom and Dad took Manny to the suite so he could take a nap. I really didn't want to go back to the room and risk running into that spider again, so I decided to spend the rest of the afternoon in the arcade. I had to make the coins I'd collected in the treasure dive last 2.5 hours. But there were some kids in the arcade with pockets full of coins who could have lasted for days in there without spending all of their money. When it started to get dark, I figured I should head back to the room. But I ran into Mom, Dad, and Manny on the footpath halfway between the arcade and our building. Mom said we were all going to go down to a bonfire on the beach, and after that, we were going to watch the turtle hatching. But first, we needed to find Roderick. This time, we all went into the teen zone to look for him. By now, it was pretty dark, though, so it wasn't easy to spot him. But when we did, I don't think he was too thrilled to see us, since he was in the hot tub and had his arm around the girl with the lip ring from volleyball. On the way to the beach, Mom told Roderick this was a family vacation, and it wasn't the time or place for teenage romance. Roderick said this thing with the girl was serious, and they planned to spend as much time as they could together. I was kind of surprised, because I thought Roderick would be turned off by the whole idea of romance after spending a few days at the resort. Who knows? Maybe one day he'll be back to this place with his family. We got down to the beach, where a bunch of families had gathered around a bonfire. But the experience wasn't fun, because of the bugs. At first, it was the gnats which flew in our eyes and mouths. Then it was the sand fleas, which bit our ankles, and then it was the mosquitoes, which were the size of hummingbirds. Whoever came up with the idea of calling this place paradise must have had a good sense of humor. Back home, human beings are at the top of the food chain, but at Isla de Corrales, everything eats people. I was definitely ready to go back to the room, because at least there I only had to deal with one bug. But then the nature guide came through and said anyone who signed up to see the turtle hatching needed to follow her to the dunes. The nature guide explained what we were about to see. She said that a mother turtle digs a hole in the sand dunes and then lays eggs in it, and a few months later, the eggs hatch. Then the baby turtles head to the ocean. She showed us a little pile of white eggs buried in the dunes and said there were lots of piles just like this one. She said the problem was that we don't know exactly when the eggs will hatch. It was dark out, and I was afraid I was going to accidentally step on an egg. So I took a few steps back to get out of the way, and when I did, something crunched under my foot. Crunch! Luckily, it was just a seashell, but still, my stomach was in knots. I'm not a fan of reptiles in general, but I decided I would make an exception for turtles. Let's face it, the only reason we were out there to watch the baby turtles hatch was because they're cute. Trust me, if this was a snake hatching, it would be a totally different situation. We would be whapping those snakes with bats when they came out of their shells. Just when I was getting ready to tell Mom we should give up and go back to our room, the eggs started hatching one by one. Crack! Everybody got really excited, but the nature guide told us to stay quiet and get out of the way. She said the turtles find their way to the ocean by seeing the moonlight reflecting on the water. But everyone ignored the nature guide and turned on their cell phones, and the camera lights made the turtles go every which way. Mom was really enthusiastic because she said we were witnessing the miracle of life. She asked where Roderick was, but no one knew. Dad said the last time he saw Roderick, he was in the tall grass in the dunes. And that's where we found him, kissing that girl. That should have been the end of the night, but it wasn't. When we got back to the room, we found out that Manny had pocketed one of the baby turtles while no one was looking, so Dad had to bring it all the way back to the beach to set it free. Thursday. I guess Mom wasn't too happy with the way our family vacation was going so far, because after breakfast she said she was going to take a spa day. That sounded like a great idea to me, and I told Mom I was going to tag along. I've always wanted to get a massage, and I figured this was my big chance. But Mom said she needed time to herself, and the rest of us were on our own. That meant we had to watch Manny. Once Mom left, the three of us tried to figure out what to do. Manny was too much to handle, so I suggested we just drop him off at the toddler's cabana and let the people who worked there deal with him. Dad liked that idea, because he said he wanted to get in a workout at the gym. He told me and Roderick we were responsible for getting Manny to the toddler's cabana, and then he left. The path took us right past the wall that separated our half from the wild side. I guess some kids were trying to get a peek at what was over there, but the landscapers put a stop to it by spraying them with a hose. I asked Roderick what he thought was on the other side, and he said he already knew. He said some of his friends in the teen zone told him that all sorts of crazy stuff goes on over there, and there's even a beach where people sunbathe without any clothes on. He said there's a hole in the wall, and if you look through it, you can see the other side. But I knew Roderick was just trying to trick me, because he's told me this kind of thing before. One summer, when we were at the town pool, he told me that if I peeked over this cinder block wall, I could see into the ladies' locker room. Well, I believed him, and I've been trying to erase the image of that old man sitting on the toilet from my mind ever since. We brought Manny to the toddler's cabana, and the kids inside were making puppets. I told the person in charge we were dropping our little brother off for the day, and we'd be back later. The counselor said the only requirement for a drop-off was that the kid was potty-trained, and I told him that Manny was. But Manny must really not have wanted to make puppets, because he got himself out of it by peeing on the ground. Roderick said I had to watch Manny by myself, because he was going to go check out the activities in the teen zone. But I knew he was just going there to meet up with that girl. I was not happy that I got stuck watching Manny. I didn't want to take him to the beach, because he'd just start collecting pets again. So I took him to the pirate play place, which was a splash zone for little kids. It was actually perfect, because I could relax on a lounge chair and keep an eye on Manny while he played. I even ordered a grilled cheese sandwich and some French fries from a waiter who came by. But I wasn't able to enjoy my meal. Some kids on the miniature pirate ship figured out that if they blocked one of the water cannons, they could make the other one shoot twice as far. They launched one right at me, and I got soaked. So I had to move to a lounge chair that was farther away. But when I sat down, I realized I had lost track of Manny. I eventually spotted him in the middle of the wading pool, all by himself and in a state of panic. I knew I had to go in there and get him, but I really didn't want to. With a number of little kids in the pool, I knew exactly what was in that water. When I was little, I used to pee in the baby pool all the time. In fact, there's a framed photo of me in the family room using the pool as a potty. Mom says it's her favorite picture of me because I look so happy, but I've never told her why. One summer, they put some chemical in the pool that turned green if anyone peed in the pool, so that put an end to that. I needed to figure out a way to get Manny without touching the water, so I found a raft and a pool noodle and paddled out to him. Splish! But I only made it halfway across when a bunch of little kids decided it would be fun to climb onto my raft. I tried fighting them off with the noodle, but there were just too many of them. Then they teamed up to flip me over. I got Manny out of the pool, and then I spent 20 minutes scrubbing every inch of my body in the outdoor shower. But 5 seconds after I finished drying off, I was wet again. The kids in the pirate ship figured out that if they plugged 2 cannons, they could get some serious range, and they hit me again. While I was drying off a second time, we bumped into Mom, and after her morning at the spa, she seemed like a whole new person. She said that while she was getting her massage, she came up with a great idea for how we could spend time as a family. She booked a private cruise for all of us, and she said the boat was going to be at the dock in half an hour. That wasn't a lot of time, so we had to split up to track down Dad and Roderick. I told Mom that Dad was at the gym, so she went there to get him. I found Roderick exactly where I expected to, in the pool, smooching that girl again, and believe me, he owes me for not letting Mom get to him first. We met Mom and Dad down at the dock. Dad wasn't too happy with Mom, because apparently this boat cost a lot of money to rent. But Mom said it was worth it, because this cruise was going to be the highlight of our trip. When I hear the word cruise, I think of a yacht, or at least a souped-up sailboat. But the boat that Mom rented didn't look like anything special. The boat came with its own captain, so I guess that was something. When we got on board, he handed us all life jackets, and after we put them on, we pulled away from the dock. The first thing I noticed was that the boat had a glass bottom, which I was not comfortable